Greetings, petrolheads, my name is the Tom, you're on my gaming channel, and it's time for another episode of Automation, the car company tycoon game. So, somebody with a very interesting name requested me to build a luxury saloon to compete with Rolls Royce, Mercedes-Maybach, and so on. And I'm gonna put that name into the description because, you know, saying it is would kind of miss the point of his name, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna choose this body shell because, well, it's the only real big saloon body shell we have for 2015, and I do want to make a modern car because there's nothing wrong with old cars, but personally I enjoy modern cars a little bit more because it just have more possibilities, you know, with how creative you can be with your design, with what kind of engine you can build and whatnot. So yeah, now that we sorted this out, and let's be honest, the car is probably gonna cost, well, quite a lot of money, so it's in our best interest probably to go for the carbon fiber chassis and panels. And for once, that's not for weight reasons, but it is for the safety reasons. You can see here that the safety is high, whereas on aluminum it's, or is it average? Corrosion resistant steel, it's high too, but the weight is very high. So if you went for corrosion resistant steel here, you can see that on the chassis the carbon fiber construction is the safest. And yeah, if we went for corrosion resistant steel panels, this car in the end might turn out to weigh like 3 tons, and I don't want that, because even with the carbon fiber it might probably weigh 2.5 or a little bit more. So yeah, there is that. We are going to flare the wheel arches now rather than later, and since we are probably gonna make a ton of power, well, I'm definitely gonna make the all-wheel drive, so much is for sure, but yeah, I wanna have plenty of space for some wide tires here, and 295s front and 305s rear should do the job. And now we're gonna get to the fixtures, and I'm going to make this a car for my own virtual company, AMW, and therefore I'm gonna put the signature grille on first. Consisting of this, and then put this into the middle of that. And increase the size a little bit so that we still have a small, you know, some small black area surrounding the chrome of that inner grille. And so we put our badge on here, which is not the AMW badge that I still haven't had a chance to make because I don't know how. And yeah, so now's the time for the headlights. Since this is 2015 and I am very much let's put it that way, I like the style of Rolls Royce and Bentley and whatnot and Maybach, but they're maybe a little bit too conservative, too old-fashioned, if you will. Maybe a little, I don't know how to put it. Obviously they're really good cars and high quality and all that, but having, you know, a wood interior with analog clocks and whatnot, that's maybe a little bit on the conservative side. Sure, let's be honest, young people mostly can't afford those cars, so if you're gonna have the money, you're probably an old person, man or woman. But at the same time, in times with the internet, where, you know, young people can become famous quickly and make millions and millions of money that way, there is the chance, at least, that, say, a 25 to 30-year-old is a self-made millionaire. Like, I don't know, it's probably safe to assume that PewDiePie is probably... No, I don't know if PewDiePie is a millionaire, but definitely, you know, Mark Zuckerberg isn't much older than 30, if he is actually older than 30 at all. I feel ashamed not to know that. But the point is, I'm trying to make a car that attracts a little bit of a younger audience than those, you know, old school type luxury cars. That is Rolls Royce, Bentley, and Maybach to a certain extent as well. So on the interior of this car, sadly we can't design our interiors yet, but on the interior you would have, you know, a digital dashboard with, you know, some really nice digital what's the word? You know, the speedometer and those gauges, digital gauges and whatnot, and you would have carbon fiber, aluminium, and so on in the interior. Not to say that you don't get those in the classic luxury cars, but you would get just a completely different style on the interior here, which would, as I said, probably attract more of a younger audience than the other ones. And that is totally my aim with this car, is to make the exterior match that. Like on the Rolls Royce, Bentley, and so on, you get pretty conservative. Maybach is a little bit different there, I gotta say. But on Rolls Royce and Bentley, you get pretty much, you know, the headlights and grille haven't really changed in the last, well, at least 50 years. So yeah, they're very traditional manufacturers, and there's something to be said about that, obviously. But again, I am a person who likes to try out new stuff, who embraces, you know, new fashioned and not so traditional stuff, who likes to try something new. And yeah, therefore these headlights you would certainly never find on a Rolls Royce, for example. That's just the first of many things to come that you know, makes this car different. Because I do feel like the market needs a, what am I trying to say, a luxury car that appeals to a younger audience. Because as I said, we're in times of the internet where, you know, in some cases even people can get famous and rich overnight. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. And times have changed. We are not in that age where if you wanna make a lot of money, you gotta work hard and, you know, many years for it. That's still something that applies for most people, but there is the option that you can make a lot of money in short time with the internet. So how do we want to make this here? I think we want to make, we want to place one like here. Gotta rotate it appropriately. And then I'm gonna choose one more of these and run it that way, parallel to this fixture right here, but I gotta adjust the rotation just a little bit more. And yeah, I think I'm done with my, you know, explanation of what I want this car to be. So it's a modernized luxury car, if you will, to put it in simple terms. So there is that. I am not going to give this car a lip, because it's not a sports car. And it does not really need the downforce. We can always get away with fitting a downforce under tray if we truthfully feel like we need it. That's all the downforce it's probably gonna require. And about the bottom of this front end here, I feel like we wait a second, what kind of vents do we have here? Yeah, some of the more interesting vents are gone now, and you know, I think we're probably gonna be best off if we stretch one of these like so. And then maybe fit some of these things right here. And then obviously we can put the number plate. Oh, that was a little bit quicker than I've anticipated. We can put it right here. And to be totally honest with you, I feel like there's something missing here. We might want to add some trimmings to this front bumper, because you know what? Why did we not? I'm an idiot. We should have surrounded these headlights with chrome, but there is one point where I can say that I like the new open beta, which is you can just select your fixture and then select one fixture that you've already placed down, and then select one of this fixture category that you want to replace it with, and therefore I'm gonna make it like this. Oh yeah, but now we're gonna have to make this. You know what? Oh, man. Just talking about what I meant and then doing something else. Yeah, this is how we want to do this. Nice, now we get our headlights surrounded by chrome. Making sure that we leave a very, very high quality impression right at first glance, and then put... Oh, what have I done? Good. No, why did you move it? I wanted to rotate it ever so slightly. Come on. Oh yes, okay. Now, I think we're gonna run one of these in here. It is a little bit too long though. And we still don't have any LEDs or anything of that sort. But to be totally honest with you, I don't think like we need LEDs since we have these little... Oh, okay. Let's just leave it as is. We have these little headlamps in here anyway, and we have the white indicator stripes that are there to simulate LED stripes and whatnot. So I think this, once we repaint it, actually will look pretty damn nice, and we're gonna use one of these as, you know, the casing for our side indicators. Actually, no, we're not gonna use these, we're gonna use those instead. And then of course we need some door handles, and obviously they're going to be made from chrome. And I really do like, you know, one door opening traditionally and then the other one opening the opposite way. I have that on pretty much all of my 4-door cars, so it's not really like I'm stealing the idea from Rolls Royce or anything like that, where they have suicide doors all the way, but I don't, so yeah. Okay, so about the rear end. This rear end has a pretty nice shape and very many different looks can work here. So I'm pretty undecided about what kind of look I'm looking for, and we need to look out, otherwise we use the word look way too many times. Look, we just did it again. Anyway, obviously we want some with chrome, but I'm still not decided on the shape yet. Yeah, so we definitely want some chrome. Let's maybe even start off with this, like start with this, and then what kind of shape can we really expect to make work here? Maybe these are a little bit too long. You know what? Let's do something different. I have not tried this before, so I feel like this is a good time to try it out. I'm gonna use some of these. And I'm going for a somewhat Aston Martin-like inspired look. But you're gonna see the difference pretty quickly, I guess, once I actually start doing it. What I said I'm gonna be doing. So this is a pretty easy way of making taillights like this. Choose one of these rounded fixtures, make them oval, and then place one of these stripes that are rounded on one side on top of them, and you get something like this. Okay, that's not exactly what I wanted yet, but and especially since we definitely have to increase the length of this. So what I'm looking for now is, I'm gonna wait a minute. What if I place these on top of... Oh, they still cover the chrome of the tail lights. That's nice. That's nice. That's very nice. And oh, yeah, now we got a little bit of a conundrum here. This is way too tall. No, don't rotate it. So I'm definitely going to cover that chrome piece of the taillight as well, because I don't want it here for anything. And then I might go for something like this, so that we can create a different shape here. Again, this is not gonna be, you know, the most popular luxury saloon design, but yeah, well, mainly because it's not traditional. It's untraditional. It's not conservative. It's innovative. It's new. It's foreign. But some people might like it. This is more aimed towards, as I said, younger people with a lot of money, not towards, you know, someone like Bernie Ecclestone, who probably doesn't buy luxury cars anyway. But this is more aimed at Mark Zuckerberg, or, you know, some of the younger pop stars, like, I don't know, Lady Gaga might not want any luxury saloon car, but you get the idea. Like, young self-made millionaires is exactly the kind of audience I'm trying to address here. The badge, yeah, it gets covered by these things. That's a little bit unfortunate. And actually, this is the wrong badge. So yeah, well, fuck me, I guess. And to round things up here, I'm going to use one of these and put it right in between those arrangements. Are they overlapping now? Yes, they are. Still. And not anymore. Oh, actually, yes. Still overlapping ever so barely. And now it's fine. Good. Oh, wait. You are still not covered. Come here. I'll give you cover. There we go. Actually, I want to fill out this little hole here as well between those fixtures. You can barely see it, but it will look a little bit odd once we paint that car. So now we sorted that out, and look at those taillights actually. And yeah, this is exactly what I mean. This is not a traditional look for a luxury car, but that's exactly the point. Yeah. Now we're gonna go ahead and... Where are we gonna put the badge? That's still a pretty dominant question. Well, you cannot really see it here. At least you can see all of it, and that's kind of... That makes it look a little bit unprofessional, maybe. Let's put it right on top. And we're gonna, despite this thing being not a sports car, I'm gonna give it some sort of bumper here. And quad exhausts. Because it is, after all, an expensive car. Man, I think I'm just gonna delete the badge. Yeah, it's probably for the best. And then I'm putting down the number plate like here. Just so the middle section of this rear end doesn't look that empty. Obviously, we're also gonna give this thing some braking lights. Somewhere here, presumably. And then I think we're ready to paint it. Not that blue, this is more along the lines of what I was looking for. Maybe even completely black. And look at this, actually. I really like how these taillights turned out. So I feel completely justified in making them this way. And maybe the headlights are a little bit too big for my own personal taste. But you know, shit happens. Anyway, we just made it all-wheel drive, and now we're gonna go ahead and put an engine in there. What kind of engine? Obviously, I know that the inline 6 is the smoothest engine. But since we're... You know what, let's give it a try. Let's make a really big inline 6 turbo. But then the inline 6 isn't as prestigious as a V8. Screw it. Let's give this thing like 100... Oh. 105 bore. A 6.3 liter turbo inline 6 should be plenty, I think. Especially considering that we're gonna turbocharge it. We are gonna need a ton of... We are gonna produce a ton of torque. We're not gonna rev it that high. At least that's my plan. And therefore I chose the components that offer the most, you know, torque, the highest max torque. And I am gonna start with +5 quality here. We can always raise that later. Keep in mind that this is gonna be a really expensive car anyway, so putting some quality in here won't really do us any negative. So we're gonna decrease the turbine size so we can make pretty much instantaneous torque. Gonna raise the AR ratio for the highest possible output. 45mm turbine should be fine. $70mm compressor. 1.2 bar, maybe? And obviously the highest quality of turbo so that it spools up earlier and whatnot and makes a little bit of power. A little bit more power, I should say, not a little bit of power. Premium gas, probably around 14 to 0. Fuel mixture, 14.0 to 1, excuse me. Very advanced ignition timing, and then the rev limit is, you know, 6,000 at highest, I would say. Put some more quality in the fuel system department here. Oh, and yeah, we're gonna make a ton of power like this. Two reverse flow mufflers and some quality in the exhaust, since we are provided exhaust by Rambus anyway. Yeah, and wait a minute, we're knocking? Not anymore. 675 horsepower is pretty much what I was looking for. Our pistons are reducing reliability due to the max RPM, but then if I use lightweight forged, it's totally fine. Oh, I thought it was gonna be a little bit too much torque for them to handle. And funnily enough, we lost 0.1 reliability by changing our pistons, even though they are green after changing them. And the exhaust is restricting airflow. So is the intake system. 675, 673. Let's leave it at single configuration, and then give it maybe a little bit more here. Yeah, 686. Let's go for 700, but 701, 697, 699, 701, 699, 697, 701, 704, 702, 700. There we go. So this engine is a true, you know, torque monster, if you will. Actually, the headlights look bigger than they are because of the chrome surroundings. That is one thing that I didn't realize earlier. So let us give this thing an 8-speed double clutch gearbox, because that's pretty much powerful, and that's pretty much you know, the standard these days. I don't think I want the top speed to be that low, honestly. So I'm gonna gear it like this, because I know that it's probably gonna be quite fast. Electric LSD, because we can afford to. Can even put some quality in here, but I don't think it's gonna do us that good. The reason being that you know what? Let me talk about the tires first, because most luxury cars these days come in sports tires anyway, because they're just stickier, they just offer more grip. But anyway, increasing the gearbox quality would make the gearbox lighter, and that would negatively impact our safety stat, because, you know, heavier is safer. Go for these rims here, and I think we're pretty much good to go as far as the tires go. So we do not have much profile left in them, but, and again, this seems to be a very, this seems to be a problem that not many manufacturers are actually addressing. Is that the tires are getting skinnier and skinnier, like less and less profile, which will affect the ride quality and whatnot. Then again, today's tires are better than, you know, earlier tires, and therefore you don't need to stress out a bit too much. Obviously this is a very heavy car, so we need big brakes to stop it appropriately. We're gonna adjust the pad type later. And let's go for full A-clad for now. We don't need to change the wing angles because there's no wings. And cooling airflow, we're gonna go a little bit over what we need here, and we're gonna give this thing a ton of quality into the in the aerodynamics, just so it will have a higher top speed and better fuel economy. We're gonna give it only 4 seats because in the middle there will be a fridge, you know. It is gonna have a handmade interior with only the finest of qualities, all the driver aids with maximum quality, safety with maximum quality, active comfort suspension, and then comfort setup here. I'm not even gonna mess with that. Yeah, and let's increase the quality as well on the suspension. And we get 52 drivability, 52 sportiness as well, 84.1 comfort, 73.6 prestige, and 111.1 safety. Yeah, so let's actually go back and see what we can change here. This is looking nice. Still a little bit sporty, but more on the safer side with high drivability. And yeah, the pad types. We're actually not, we don't have that much room for improvement on the front here. What if we do this? That made it a little bit more comfortable. I'm not gonna go any lower than that though. But we can go lower on the rear end. I'm fine with losing some sportiness in favor of comfort here, because again, this is not a sports car. So then, yeah, now look at it. Now it suggests that this will do 357. So we're actually gonna go ahead and gear it even a little bit longer. And what kind of power distribution do we want to make? Does this help? Yes. Yes. Still yes. Still better. I'm only looking at the wheel spin. I'm gonna want to make as little wheel spin as possible. And there we had it. 38 to 62. And now this thing should be pretty quick on the quarter mile. Zero to 100 in 3.3 seconds. It's really impressive for a heavy car like this. 11.14 seconds. That is actually pretty much on par with a Mercedes SLS Black Series, and that is truly spectacular for a car of this size and weight. With, you know, no downforce whatsoever, with an engine that only revs to 6,000 RPM and so on. So yeah, obviously economy is not a major concern in this car category. However, it is still better than on Rolls and Bentleys and Maybachs and all that. So I'm feeling confident about this fuel economy here. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button, it helps out a great deal. Subscribe if you want to see more in the future, but for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.